Hey, and welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show, where we are again on our journey to 250,000 subscribers. So thank you all for subscribing. If you like what you hear, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with a friend. All right, as you all know, I know Donald Trump better than anybody. And they could all say, all these pundits and all these talking heads, they could say whatever they want. Today, the Blanche firm, Todd Blanche, as I refer to as the Sloat, the stupidest lawyer of all time, sent to Judge Juan Merchan, who is the judge in the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case that I was a key witness in, sends them a letter demanding that the sentencing, which you heard me talk about several times on this show, that the sentencing of September 18th be adjourned. What I want to do is I just want to go through this one-page document, and then I want to give you my reaction. Because what you're hearing from the news is only a small smidge of exactly what is going on inside of Donald's head. So if you really want to understand the man, just pay attention to this. Okay, let's go to the first paragraph here. And of course, as I said, it's from Todd Blanche to the Honorable Juan M. Merchan. And it says, "Dear Justice Merchan, the court should adjourn any sentencing in this case, though one should not be necessary because dismissal and vacatur of the jury's verdicts are required based on presidential immunity until after the 2024 presidential election. And we respectfully submit this pre-motion letter seeking that adjournment relief pursuant to CPLR 380.30 subparens 3, which can be deemed the motion." Let's go to the next paragraph, because this is fantastic. "Notwithstanding the court's ruling on the disputed recusal issue," which, by the way, was denied with a capital D-E-N-I-E-D, denied, "the requested adjournment would prospectively mitigate the asserted conflicts and appearances of impropriety, which are also the subject of an ongoing congressional inquiry. In yesterday's ruling, the court did not address the significance of the 2019 conversations with Your Honor's daughter criticizing President Trump's use of Twitter, with the new fact being that existing tweets from President Trump at the time of that conversation are squarely at issue in the pending presidential immunity motion." Okay, let me begin by saying this. None of this is accurate. These are all conjectures for the third time that Todd Blanche is putting before the court. He is making claims that are completely out of the scope of what it is that he's dragging in. For example, presidential immunity does not apply to this. Now, you're going to hear from pundits on television that some of it might, because you had Hope Hicks or Madeline Westerhout and that there were some emails or tweets. That's not the basis for which the jury ended up making their decision on the 34 counts of guilt. Let's go to the next paragraph. I mean, this is just fantastic. "The requested adjournment would prevent Danny," that's the district attorney of New York, "from filing a sentencing submission while the court is still considering the presidential immunity motion. In an August 5th, 2024 letter, Your Honor indicated that the court will issue a decision on the immunity motion on September 16th, 2024, that the existing September 18th sentencing date remains unchanged, and that the parties should keep these dates in mind for purposes of sentencing submissions." What is it here that Judge Merchan is being asked? He's being asked to vacate this entire thing until after, because the scheduling is now no longer in or beneficial in the mind of Todd Blanche. I mean, this is absolutely crazy stuff. This is just all crazy stuff. It is meant to delay it. And I'm going to get at the very end to explaining what this is all really about. Let's just go to the next paragraph. "The requested adjournment is also necessary to allow President Trump, first of all, he's not President Trump, adequate time to assess and pursue state and federal appellate options in response to any adverse ruling. The Trump decision arose from an interlocutory appeal, while proceedings were stayed in the federal trial court. And the Supreme Court confirmed that a trial court's denial of immunity is appealable before trial. Okay, let me also begin by saying there is no appeal before trial. That case has already been decided. And if there is an appeal, by all means do it. This is not a federal case. This is a state case. Let's go to one additional paragraph here. Let's go to the next one. The current schedule contemplates, this is a very important paragraph. The current schedule contemplates the type of highly expedited proceedings that the Supreme Court already criticized, but Danny has demanded. As relevant here, after wrongly denying that presidential immunity existed for months, Danny purported to authoritatively address the scope of presidential power and the immunity doctrine inaccurately in a brief filed just 23 days after the Trump decision. They did so despite only limited federal litigation experience, with the notable and telling exception of a former high-ranking official from the Biden administration, and without any input from the federal government that they felt worth mentioning. The court still has not addressed our request to respond to the purported amicus brief, despite the fact that the court has had an opportunity to consider the arguments in that filing since July 29th of 2024. In contrast to all of this, on August 8th of 2024, the special counsel's office notified the federal trial judge in the District of Columbia that they are continuing to assess Trump, including through consultation with other DOJ components, and had not even finalized a position on the most appropriate schedule for the parties to brief issues relating to presidential immunity. Let's go to the final paragraph. I believe it's the final paragraph. Finally, setting aside naked election interference objectives, there is no valid countervailing reason for the court to keep the current sentencing date on the calendar. There is no basis for continuing to rush. Accordingly, we respectfully request that any sentencing, if one is needed, be adjourned until after the presidential election. Signed again, the Sloat, Todd Blanche. What is this really about, my friends? Okay, this is obviously, let's throw everything that we can into the kitchen sink, against the wall, and hope whatever it is that sticks, sticks. They have taken presidential immunity to a whole new level now, okay? The fact that they are asking for this adjournment does not mean that you are entitled to one. And why is it at this state, right now, today, on August 15th, that they are asking for this delay of any sentencing until after the election? And here's the simple reason: because Donald J. Trump is fucking petrified. Let me tell you this again, knowing him as well as I do, having been shoulder to shoulder with the man for almost a decade and a half, let me explain to you his sort of emotional state right now. When it's past like a 60-day, a 90-day, 180 days, to Donald Trump, he believes that that's like eternity. I'm not thinking about it. He has other issues that he needs to contend with. Things like J.D. Vance or Shady Lady Vance's stupid comments about the drag pictures, about the statements about childless cat women. I mean, all of this stuff are things that are right now really perplexing to Trump, including, let's not forget, crowd size. So why do I say this? Because we are now just about T-minus 30 and counting. In fact, it's T-minus 33 days and counting. And because the schedule now has been given to him, whether it's September 4th with Fox News, the 10th. You have the upcoming DNC convention starting on, like the 19th to the 23rd of August. He is now seeing the calendar get very, very tight. But here's what he sees in that calendar. Donald J. Trump, DA, New York, Danny, sentencing date September 18th. He could smell it. He can see it. He can feel it. It's not months out. And he is petrified. Donald J. Trump is petrified of coming to New York and being in a courtroom where he is going to be sentenced by Judge Juan Merchan, a man who has warned him on multiple occasions, who has already held him accountable for violating a gag order 10 times. I believe that there's like 5 additional counts that also have to be discussed and ruled on September 18th. Not to mention to finally provide the sentence that will ultimately go down in history, as this is the very first time that a former president has ever been not just indicted, but convicted and now sentenced. He is so afraid that it is going to include, which it should, whether it's going to be a very, very significant home confinement, taking away his liberty and his freedom, or it will also include some form of jail sentence, like over at Rikers Island. I mean, I know everybody's thinking to themselves, it can't happen, it can't happen. It's happened. It's happened to other people in the past. Think about Noriega in Miami, at the Federal Correctional Institution in Miami. Think about other countries that have incarcerated their prime ministers or presidents because they committed a crime. They were held accountable and they were found guilty, just like Donald J. Trump is. So he is now feeling accountability right at his doorstep. He is petrified of it. Petrified. It's why he is absolutely losing his shit each and every day. It's why he is right now off the rails. Nobody's able to speak to him about really anything, because this is all that's on his mind every day, that he puts his head down to go to sleep, knowing that the day next that he wakes up is one day closer to his day of reckoning with Judge Juan Merchan, is making him sick to his stomach. Rest assured, I'm telling you, this is factual. I know him better than anyone. Take my word for it. And also, here's the next thing I want you to take my word for. Vote Harris Walz 2024. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.